So we're going to answer those 5 questions as quick as we can as soon as we receive the call from the sideline that we're going to be in press man. So as soon as we absorb that call, we answered our 5 questions. Okay, we're going to start to determine a stance. So what does a stance look like for us? Well, number 1, our feet are going to be about shoulder width apart. Arms are going to be hanging relaxed or up, ready to punch. To me, I'm not a guy. There's some guys that feel that the hands have got to be up. There's some guys that feel the hands have got to be down. I don't really care. To me, it's all about comfort. So what you're most comfortable doing. And then we want to be about a yard off of that line of scrimmage. I don't want to ever take a chance of being offsides when we line up in press man. And part of that speaks to understanding, is the guy on or off of the ball? That's a critical piece that we want to identify. And that'll help us to understand where exactly we're lining up at. I always think it's productive too to just give a hand to the official and make sure that he knows, hey, I'm trying to be on, hey, I'm trying to be on sides here. 2, and this is more important, I think, even than where our hands are at, is our body angle. Okay, we've got to be squatted with our angle north of 90 degrees, our chest over our knees and our nose over our toes. So we don't want to be in a position where I'm really, really squatted down, where I'm parallel, where it's like a 90-degree angle. I don't want that, because that's too tough to move laterally. That's too uncomfortable, and our hamstrings are too tight in that position. I want to be a little bit more loose and a little bit more relaxed. So I want to keep it north of 90. I want my chest over my knees still, and then my nose over my toes. And lastly, and this is critical and a piece that I think some coaches neglect at times, is my core has to be tight. If my core isn't tight, my core isn't defined, okay, it's going to be tough for me to redirect. So our core has to be tight to stabilize our body position and be able to redirect and move laterally. The pressure on my feet, and it's not on the screen in this clip, but the pressure on my feet has to be on the inside part of my feet, just like a base stealer stealing second base. To me, you have to make sure that your weight is on the inside part of your feet, because I want to be able to move laterally both ways. So just like a guy leading off from first, am I going to be diving back to the bag, or am I going to be exploding out to second? And then my eyes. My eyes are obviously on the man that I'm covering, but they start on that leverage side breastplate. I don't want to start with my eyes on his hips. My eyes are too low. I got to see where I want to punch at. So if I'm going to talk about delivering the first punch and dictating the pace of play with a punch, then I want to make sure that my hand is on that breastplate, ready to be able to jam him at the line of scrimmage. So I want to make sure that I'm keying that. I'll move my eyes down to his hip as we get further and further downfield. Number 2, we hit on leverage in terms of the questions, the five W's, 5 critical questions we're going to ask ourselves. Oh, let me scroll back there. But our leverage is going to be determined by our lateral distance between the wide receiver we're covering and the ball. Okay, so what constitutes tight alignment versus wide or normal alignment? So tight alignment means that he's cut that split way down. Okay, so that can be defined by 4 yards or less from that end man on the line of scrimmage, so that offensive tackle or that tight end. Okay, or top of the numbers, if we're in the top of the numbers and inside into the boundary. So if I'm in the boundary corner, the ball's on the hash nearest to me, and I'm aligned on the top of those numbers. That would be tight alignment. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip my leverage to outside. If our wideout is aligned wide or normal alignment, I'm going to play inside leverage, okay? And the wider that thread is, the more leverage I can take relative to still being able to create contact at the line of scrimmage. And my head, in terms of that alignment, my head should be on that leverage side breastplate as I get established into my stance.